My hope is Jeff Keighley is standing on the center stage, and you know the little side platform? I really hope the Crash guy in his mascot suit with a Wumpa bazooka and fires it, shoots Jeff Keighley in the head with a Wumpa fruit, and he goes, "Wumpa League!" and then the trailer plays. That's my headcanon. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys. How are you doing?
I'm doing just as well.
I was talking earlier, like, it's been a long time since we've spoken.
I was going to say...
At least since last week.
An entire week.
Usually we do talk off the podcast. I don't know if we don't just do this for, we don't just show up once a week and you get our conversation. Usually we do show up multiple times, but it's just been one of those weeks where it genuinely has been, like the last time we talked was the podcast. So, and we all know that we all forget exactly what we talked about on the podcast as soon as we stop recording. So it's like, who knows what we talked about? We could go back and look, but I'm not going to do it.
So true. I do not remember last week's episode. It wasn't the Genshin one. That was the week before.
It was indie games. It was Stadia dying, and I think that's it. So if you missed last week's episode, there you go.
Immortals Phoenix Rising was also present.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
That game was on the Switch.
Was it?
It was. I remember being baffled by that doing my research.
I'm just going to turn Hunter down, so apologies, because your mic is in a different location again, and I'm just a terrible podcast host. I'm sorry about that, Hunter. But no, welcome back to the podcast, everybody, where we occasionally talk about good video games. It doesn't happen often, though, especially not this week. Not this week. It's bad video game season, or as we like to call it, the fall, because that's basically... If you've got a bad game, you release it in the fall. That's why. Why Skull and Bones been pushed to March for Hunter? Why can't they just release it where it belongs?
I don't know.
But this week we're going to talk about a game that tried to release this week in Overwatch 2. I have played some of it. Keep your expectations low, because I haven't played that much of it, because I'm not a miracle worker, because Blizzard tried their hardest to make sure that everybody got exactly 2 hours of the game in, and that's about it. So I have played some of it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about my couple first impressions. I played the beta, so I know what Overwatch 2 is. I've played enough of it. We'll also talk about if it deserves all the hate it's been getting on Twitter. Twitter's been having a field day. Does it deserve to have hate if we take all the cues and stuff out of it? We'll get into that. We're also talking about some other little details. We got PlayStation's problems right now. We're going to talk about everything from games
Just
going gold to remakes to PlayStation stars, which I can't even say with a straight face. We'll talk about the Mario movie, because that happened, and it's funny enough not an L that happened this week. We'll get into it, but I it was all right. Crash Copium continues. We're going to talk about the Wumpa League maybe coming back again, because why not? We got CD Projekt Red being overly ambitious, announcing 20.
Sure.
This time for sure. Maybe CD Projekt's working on it. Who knows? Because they announced 26 fucking video games. And then we'll wrap it up, because Kyle, you played Bayonetta 1 for the first time, and Hunter, you replayed it recently. So we're gonna.
Actually, this was the first time I've beaten it too. So.
Oh, you haven't beaten it?
No. I started.
Point on this podcast. There was a point on this podcast where I was the only person that had actually finished Bayonetta 1. The most unlikely person.
A couple years ago, but whatever. I'll get into it when we get to that.
Okay. We'll talk about it. We've got lots to talk about. So yeah. If you're new here, we're here every Monday at around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, you can catch us on podcast services. Just search for Hot Gamers Only, or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only. Yeah, you can look at our stupid faces each and every week. Thanks for the support on everything so far. The Xenoblade Chronicles 3 spoiler cast is our most viewed spoiler cast on YouTube, so thank you for that. And the retention is really high for that as well, which is good, because it means that people aren't just clicking.
Someone left a comment regarding like 2 hours in yesterday.
Oh my god!
So
people
they are watching. Oh god, no!
Yeah.
We don't make those long episodes for you to actually listen. What the fuck? Like, that's weird.
Bluff called.
Yeah,
You're only
most of the time.
2/3 done with that episode.
Most of the time we just most of the time we talk about the thing for like a good hour and a half, and then the final hour and a half we just talk shit about people that don't make it that
Just
far.
nonsense,
So thank you,
man.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good episode. So if you haven't checked it out already and you have finished Xenoblade 3, go on over to youtube.com/hotgamers only or search for it on podcasts. It's up there. And you guys really liked Genshin too. Why is that video
That
done so
one's
well?
going off,
I don't
dude.
know. But, you know, classic Genshin fans, they're going to Genshin. So thank you for the support so far. And like I say,
if you're listening and you came here from the Genshin videos, might I recommend Best Game Sequels? It's a good episode. Please check it out.
and if you,
I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? There's so many good episodes. There's like 133 other good episodes. Only kidding. Some of the early ones are really bad.
There's
Don't
like
go back
20.
that far. Don't go back that far. Season 1 is a bit hit and miss. There's some good stuff there, but
Do not
also
watch the CTR video.
do not watch the CTR video. If you that is an episode of a podcast. You think that we recorded the first one after that one, but we didn't. We just had a really good first episode and a really bad second. But hey ho, it's all good. Let's get into it. We've danced around the subject long enough. Let's get to it. So my first question that I'm posing to myself, because I'm the only person that's played it, is is Overwatch 2 overhated? We've pissed people off with underrated, we've pissed people off with overrated. It's only right that we now use the trifecta and piss people off by saying overhated, just so that we've covered the boundaries, so that everybody's pissed off at me for my naming convention. Thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate it. So now,
If you've got a complaint, leave it on the back of a $20 bill in the mail.
exactly. Exactly. Pay to play, pay to offend us, please. But now, I played quite a bit of it yesterday. Yesterday was the only chance I did have to play it. I booted it up Tuesday, and like everybody else under the sun, didn't get access to anything whatsoever because the servers were dead on day one, and some of it was Blizzard's fault. You know, server queues are. They should know by now. I feel like Blizzard owning WoW and owning StarCraft and owning everything else. You think they'd know about this by now?
To Blizzard, like according to my brother who played WoW for a long time, and the other siblings all played like Diablo and stuff. This always happens to them. Like throughout the years, they never got better about it. It just always happens.
And Overwatch 2 happened too, you know, more than fucking 10,000 people decided to play Overwatch and the servers were like, can't handle it, we're not used to this kind of traffic anymore, so everything went down. But to be fair to them, it wasn't solely that, they also went through multiple DDoS attacks on the servers, so that wasn't their fault. So
that always happens to them too.
Yeah, I feel like their servers are an easy target. I feel like it's always like they're not going to work. It's a bit of a wasted effort, really, lads. I mean, why are you DDoSing? Because one, that shit's for nerds. Why? You're just a loser. Because oh no, we're going to stop people from having fun on launch day. It's like, come the fuck on. Like
same difference.
Go hand in hand.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Semantic nonsense.
But it's like, you know, like what's the point of DDoS in it? The servers aren't going to work on launch day anyway. It's Blizzard. You're wasting your efforts.
Exactly.
And to be honest, like I said, you're just a little shit for doing it. But so the servers took even longer to come online. Then Wednesday they were also having issues with the servers. So and Thursday, and then from like Friday, I think they're working fine now. They keep going. They keep doing scheduled maintenance for an hour or two every day, just so that they can take the servers down, fix everything, and boot them back up. But it seems to be working now. I got in earlier today and played a game real quick, and I didn't have to queue for anything. So I think they fixed all their issues. So that's good. In terms of complaints about all this whole ordeal, there's a couple. First off is the way that we had to get Overwatch 2. It was very fucking stupid. For those of you who weren't aware, on console, on PC, it was a pre-download like any other video game. You download the game, hey ho, you click play on launch day, you sit in a queue that you can't get through, and you try again tomorrow, like everybody else. On console, Overwatch 2 worked extremely weird. So, on Xbox, on Xbox and PlayStation, it was an update to Overwatch 1. So people who uninstalled Overwatch 1 to get ready for Overwatch 2 fucking played themselves because it literally was a patch that just overwrites the original game. So they just completely...
So
there was a
those
patch
people
that
who
was just
said it
20
could have been a
gigs.
patch were in
It
fact
was.
correct.
Yeah, it was a patch. Just patched over the entire video game. Which is also funny because now the Overwatch 1 trophy list is just the Overwatch 2 trophy list. They just changed it to Overwatch 2, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Done. Don't need to worry about it. So you could technically pre-download the update 3 hours early because it was just a patch. The problem was Xbox has smart delivery. PlayStation 5, unfortunately, has what we have coined dumb delivery, which doesn't work. So to get the pre-download for the PS5 version to work, you had to, and I shit you not, wait for the game to go live on the PlayStation Store, search for it, and then download it. You could not pre-download it. You just had to wait for the gods to say, yeah, it's up now, and download it like a regular game. So that was it. It also, note for you, Kyle, because you know you loved hearing me bitch about this about Fall Guys. It has the Fall Guys problem where none of the trophies carry on it over either. So trophy list doesn't fucking work. So I'm just playing the PS4 version. So there you go. I'm just playing the PS4 version on my PS5 because the trophy list doesn't work and it carries over to everything else. As for cross progression and all that syncing, it worked for me. I've heard people had horror stories of logging in after account merge and it saying account merge successful and having nothing. They fixed it. Yeah. Blizzard said it was their problem, but there's been a load of bugs and a load of issues, which have led to the internet shitting on it, which I don't know if it's fair. I feel like, to be fair, if something doesn't work, I feel like things are always going to have problems, especially online games, but, you know, if you're going to clown around, clown on them, because why not? It's a company at the end of the day.
Any issues with like the actual gameplay side of things?
Oh, it's awful. No, I'm kidding. It's good. No, Overwatch 2, in terms of a game, is the best Overwatch has ever played. It is genuinely for the better. 5v5 is a godsend because it removes shields. Overwatch is no longer a game where, if you didn't play Overwatch 1, let me clue you in on what Overwatch 1 gameplay was. Basically, what Overwatch gameplay was, especially for the past 4 years, was, okay, the two tanks on your team, they pick 2 shield tanks, and everybody else picks characters. They can pick whatever they want. And then the idea was say there was an objective in the middle of the map. One team stood on one side of the map with their shields up, and the other team on the map on their side stood with their 2 shields up, and everyone just shot at fucking shields for 20 minutes until someone's shields fucking gave up and everybody died. And that was Overwatch, was shooting at fucking... I heard someone coined it best when they just called it Blue Rectangle Simulator, where you just fucking shoot at blue rectangles until one of the rectangles dies, and then there you go, you win. Now that there's one tank, that's basically gone. Yeah, Reinhardt still has a shield, and a couple of others still have a shield. But because there's only one shield now, the whole game has just basically become a massive rush where shields have been nerfed to shit. So now people just rush in and you bully the tank that has the shield if they have a shield out.
Yeah,
so
get them.
The game's just become extremely aggressive and extremely fun to play. It's like the biggest compliment I have to Overwatch right now is it's fun to actually play again. Overwatch had got to the point where it just wasn't a fun video game, and now it is, and that's great. It's like the movement feels great. All the tanks except for Doomfist feel really fun to play. Poor Doomfist got moved over to tank and is the worst tank in the game now, so, you know, good job, Doomfist. Yeah, he's just, no one likes Doomfist. It's a shame. He's shit, but oh well, I'm not going to complain. He's always been terrible. But in terms of gameplay, 5v5 just works great. It feels great to play. Every hero that got changed is a good change in my opinion. Orissa's a major improvement. Bastion is still a toxic fucking character, but in a completely different way now, so that's pretty cool. They decided, instead of him having his shitty turret, what if we let him... He can only use the turret for like 8 seconds, guys, but we'll strap him to a tank so he can move around while he fucking does it like a little...
Oh my god.
Depression machine as he shoots around and makes everyone sad. Which is cool. And now his new ultimate, instead of being a tank, because his old ultimate was a tank, now he has something called artillery mode, which is just toxic, where he just literally can fire 3 fucking cruise missiles down on people and you just cry and die. So, you know... That's fun. Um, those are the two major reworks that I can think of. Some characters like Symmetra are still shit. Doomfist is still shit. Um, support heroes are a lot more. I feel like I don't know, Kyle. You've played little bits and pieces. I feel like the outside mentality to
Barely.
Overwatch is like support is like the casual role. The shit people play
It's
support. They just sit and heal. Not really anymore because with
True.
the game being a massive rush pit, you kind of have to be good at what you're doing. Every support kind of has to be able to keep themselves alive.
Support.
So yeah, support themselves as well as the team. So
Yeah.
there's a lot
I
of
remember
interesting dynamics with that.
I
Um,
remember in the few hours I put into Overwatch 1, I was playing Lucio and Diva,
mhm.
basically like the two casual characters,
And funny
because I
enough,
didn't want
Lucy.
to learn.
And funny enough, Lucio and Diva are now two of the best characters in the game at the moment.
Outstanding. I know how to
Oh,
pick them, dude.
Yeah,
Every game, I either pick the best characters or the worst characters.
yeah.
Never get the mid tier.
Lucio and Diva are pretty damn broken right now. And then obviously, Overwatch 2 has added 3 new heroes. Uh, Sojourn, who is I love Sojourn. Sojourn's great. She is basically she's like Soldier, she's like your typical kind of shooter kind of character, but she has a railgun that charges on the hits you do. So you can do these mad damage
Ooh.
powered shots after you don't do regular damage. And if you check my Twitter, I have a play of the game where it's so satisfying if you hit those shots because her ultimate is just a rapid charge of her secondary like shot, so her railgun shot, so you can just fucking pew people off, and it's just so satisfying to just get so many headshots with that thing. It's really good, really like it. Junker Queen, the tank, I've played the least of. I played her a lot in the beta. She's really fun. She's basically a rush tank because like everything in Overwatch 2 basically is emphasizing more of a get in and actually
Like the game's just
like a
faster.
brawler. It's a brawler, yeah. It's
Do
more of a brawler
something.
shooter than a than a sit back and shoot at shields simulator. So Junker Queen is really fun because she has a shotgun and she has this axe. She basically has Kratos' axe from God of War where she can throw it at people and then pull it back and it pulls the enemies a bit with them. It's like a mixture of it's like a mixture of it's like a mixture of a projectile and Roadhog's hook. It doesn't actually hook people fully in, but also it's just like it's really fun to deal damage with it. It also causes bleed, which causes them to trickle damage over a couple of seconds, which I really like. So she's really fun. Bit underpowered now because she got nerfed to hell and back because she was so broken in the beta, but that always happens.
Typical.
And then the new support, Kiriko, who is she's basically she's like an absolute monster. She is a gross hero, but I think what's great about it is she is probably also the most skill dependent. She has the highest skill ceiling and the highest skill floor for a support. She is she's a ninja. She's like she comes from the same line as Genji and Hanzo. The Overwatch lore is her mother was the person that trained Genji and Hanzo. And so her Kiriko's whole backstory is her grandmother watched over this famous fox shrine, which was a shrine to the fox god, and her mother was this famous ninja, and she's struggling between. She was basically struggling to find which life she wanted to live, so she decided to mix both of them, and so she's a ninja that also has this fucking spirit fox that helps support and heal, and she throws like I don't know what they're called, but like the little like ornaments that hang in like the Japanese shrines, the little like notes and the little
Talisman.
the
Oh yeah,
talisman
the
things. I
talismans.
don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what there's a specific term for them, but I don't remember what they're called. But she throws them to throw healing support, and then she also has kunai daggers, which if you headshot with them is like a 2-shot fucking kill. She's basically a DPS if you can hit your headshots. She is nutty, but it also has like the smallest hitbox in the game, and you have to be so precise with it that she's just really fun to play. She is basically more of a hybrid healer than a standard healer like Mercy. Really, she's what Moira mains want from a healer, because a lot of Moira mains piss me off because they just hold down the damage button and do fuck all healing. Whereas Kiriko can play that really aggressive play style, but then also have really good healing. So I like her a lot. She's probably my favorite of the three. from that perspective, just because it's really satisfying to hit headshots. There's my first game of Overwatch 2, there's a clip on that on Twitter, but the HGO was fucked, so it looks kind of dodgy. Where I literally hit a headshot on another Kiriko on a rooftop from like 200 meters away while not looking. I threw the kunai and then walked behind a wall and it just get the headshot ding and the fucking kill. I was like, yes, this game's good. But no, in terms of 5v5, it genuinely is. It's the best Overwatch has played. Which is why I honestly feel like people are like, it's an update. You're getting it. It's a free to play fucking video game for one. So do with that what you will. You're not paying full price to get the game again. Was it the Overwatch 2 we were promised 3 years ago? Was it 2019? No, because where the fuck's the PvE? It's not here yet. Where's the single player story? Where's all the lore? It's not here.
Please, where is the single player?
No clue. The only good things that it's done is there is a load more story because there's a load more voice lines and characters. They've also made the Overwatch universe make sense again. And what I mean by that is, if you've seen all these animated shorts and you've seen all this stuff about like Overwatch being disbanded and Overwatch being recalled and stuff like that, Overwatch 1 always took place in this grey area of Overwatch has been disbanded, but it's not together yet. And so it's like all these cinematics take place before and after and all in between. Whereas now Overwatch is back. Overwatch 2 takes place after that cinematic from BlizzCon in 2019 where Overwatch is back. So it's like everything now is taking place where it should. So when the single player story does kick in, it'll make sense for everybody, which I like. So they fixed that on a lore perspective and all of that sorted. But no, it's Overwatch. It's really good. Like, does it have its problems? Yeah, but it's really good. And the free-to-play what pay as you want model is a bit shit. The battle pass is a battle pass, shocker to everybody. But Overwatch has this new fun feature of what if we did battle passes, but get this, we don't give you currency to buy the next one in the battle pass, you just buy the battle pass every time, guys. What about that one? Let's try that. Which,
God.
I don't know how I feel about that. It does work out where there are weekly challenges where you do earn these coins. So I think it's worked out that if there's 6 battle passes in a year, you'd only have to technically pay for 3 of them, which would be the 3. So it's like, it'd work out to be like, in the UK, it's like £8 for the battle pass. So it'd be like £24 a year, which if you're like me and have played Overwatch in the past, if you have ever bought loot boxes, you know that it probably cost you more than £24 a year to get some content, but also you're not getting all the content because it's only the stuff tied to battle passes. My opinion on heroes being locked to certain levels of the battle pass. So for those of you that don't know, Kiriko, who's the new hero, if you owned Overwatch 1, you get instant access to it. If you buy the battle pass, you get instant access to the new hero. If you are a free-to-play Andy, you get her on tier 55 of the battle pass, which is pretty high. It's 80 tiers in total, so it's over halfway through.
Jeez.
But I don't know how I feel about it, because I'm like, I understand they need to make money somehow, and I feel like heroes are the big draw, but also it feels a bit shitty to lock it behind like that far in. They could at least have made it like 20 or 25, because
it feels
dirty.
I don't know. The notion that they'll be gone just like for
they won't.
Maybe not forever, but for a while after that.
No, they won't. The way that's the only bright side is if you miss the battle pass, if you don't get to that in time, when you start the next season, there'll be a permanent challenge that is always there, which if you beat that challenge, you unlock Kiriko instantly. So the way that'll work is it's similar to weapons in Call of Duty, where it will be like, win 15 games as a support and you'll get Kiriko unlocked. Or do this in X amount of games, heal 5,000 damage in a single game 5 times or 10 times. You'll unlock her eventually. So they'll always be available. It's just time gating it. I should also mention that in competitive play, the new hero is locked for, I believe, 3 weeks. So it's not going to be one of those things where if you are a free-to-play person, you're not going to go into competitive and all of a sudden have the hero be a requirement or be busted. There'll be time for you to grind to 55. I don't think you can fucking grind to 55 in 3 weeks, if I'm honest with you.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude, anyway. Maybe if you're really into
reasonable
Overwatch.
Attitude.
Yeah. If you're really into Overwatch, maybe. But I feel like...
And you don't have a day job.
Yeah. if it's hit and miss, but it's like if those are like, I feel like Heroes it's dirty, right? But it's like Heroes don't show up all the time. It's not going to be every battle pass. It's every 2 seasons, I believe. The other season will be maps, and I will promise you this: they will not lock maps behind the battle pass, so you'll be fine with those. Not yet, anyway. So I don't know. It's a free to play update. It's great. Check it out. And I mean, if you haven't played Overwatch before and you've ever wanted to get into it, get into it. There are gripes, there are problems. I still am waiting for my single player content, my PvE stuff. I'm sure that'll come in time. My one hope is that they don't go and start releasing, because there is an actual story mode. There is like a full on campaign that's supposed to come with this. I'm really hoping that they don't do what I'm scared that they're going to do, which is starting in 2023, they're going to be like a level each fucking season. And then it's just like, hey, season 7's going to have a level and season 8's going to have a level. I really hope they just drop it all in one go.
This notion of having a campaign is the one thing that like may eventually get me to play this game, because I hate people and don't want to play with them. So playing a campaign, is something that I would give a chance, because I've always thought the world looked neat.
And I do want to mention, if there is the option of, if there's 2 options here, if Overwatch is going down 2 paths here of, do you want, if they're going to release a level every season, or if I can just pay $30 and get a single player campaign, go the $30 route, for the love of fucking God. I will happily pay $30 for an Overwatch 2 campaign. Very happily will, because if you're going to drag it out, because if it's going to be like a 12 mission campaign or something, that each season's 2 months, that's like 2 years, and I'm like, I'm not playing it.
It'd be like the Life is Strange 2 rollout, man.
Yeah, like, no, I'm not doing that. It's tragic. But no, I feel like a lot of it is getting overhated. Is it an update? It's more than an update, because the whole backend's changed, the engine's changed. It looks so much better. It's genuinely, like, the visual enhancements and everything are great. They've done a good job. I don't think it being an update to Overwatch 1 in the way that they delivered it helps that notion in the slightest. But it was a 20. It was a
decent bit of humor, though.
Yeah, it was a 20 gig patch. They rewrote over everything basically, but it's a weird way of doing it. But no, it's good, and I feel like if you're into that kind of shooter, you should try it out. It's good. Maybe you can get some friends into it, because now that it's free, people might like it more. I feel the only thing it needs is
less of a barrier to entry.
It's less of a barrier of entry. Do we really need to still use Battle.net in the year of 2022? That's my thing. Everything seems to be moving. COD's going back to Steam. We'll talk about Crash later. Crash is moving to Steam. I feel like you're gonna make your money anyway. Overwatch, move yourself to Steam. Do you know how many people will play Overwatch if it moved to Steam? Just saying.
Once the Xbox thing goes through,
they move
that they get, they'll get rid of Battle.net probably, because they'll be like, who cares?
I mean, they already are for Activision stuff. It would be only a matter of time. But it's good. I feel like, is it overhated? I feel like some of it's warranted, but I do feel like it's been a bit overhated. But it's also, there's still stuff there to be excited about. It's still really fun. Am I probably going to get addicted to it again? We'll see. I don't know. I doubt it. Not in the same way. I'll probably still play it quite a bit, but am I gonna be like fully in the hole again? No, I doubt it. You can't.
I can't wait until we get the 2-year anniversary episode dedicated to Overwatch, like we do for the Genshin stuff.
I don't know what that's the fair. I'm never gonna get into a game
the
like
last
that.
20 seconds and save it.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Save it as ammunition.
I'm not gonna get addicted, unlike you fucking weebs with Genshin Impact. Jesus Christ. No. Anyway, that's enough positivity on a negative topic. Let's get some negativity on a negative topic. Let's talk about all this PlayStation drama. Which one do you want to start with, Hunter? It's like rolling the dice. Do you want to start with the good news, the bad news, or the worst news? Which one? Which one are we rolling the dice on?
Let's start with Horizon, just because.
Good. The bad news. Let's go. Go on, Hunter. Tell us about it then. What's happening in the world of Horizon?
The rumor percolating right now is that PlayStation is looking into making. I don't think PlayStation's made an official statement on
No,
this,
they haven't.
but
But
so
everyone and their mum
PlayStation is
has, so it's basically confirmed.
so it's looking like they want to do a remake similar to the
Not that
Last of Us
they don't
Part
want
1.
to. They're doing it. They've already
Yeah.
started. It's not
Yeah,
a want to
they're
until this
going
thing's
to.
ready.
In a similar vein to The Last of Us Part 1 that came out in September for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Put the fucking clown shoes on, dude. Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
Honk, honk.
Jeez. Like, I don't get it. I liked
Right.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I liked it a lot. It was one of my favorite PlayStation exclusive first party games that generation. I am not going to buy a remake of it for the PlayStation 5.
People clowned on The Last of Us remake. I almost understood why they did, because Last of Us is in that perfect era of video games of early 2010s to kind of like 2009 to 2013, where games were good, but they also still had some of that kind of retro jank to them, where they still very much looked and felt like video games, not in the way that modern video games are. Last of Us almost started what is the current modern video game era. So it's like, I understood, kind of. I was like, is it needed? No, because Last of Us 1 is still a very good video game. But I can see why they would go for it. Horizon, I've no fucking clue. This is clown shoes moment.
Like a bunch of people are talking about how it's for the same reasons. Like they want to have this for people who watch the TV show whenever that comes out to go and scoop up with the other one. And it's like, okay, yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah.
Everything gets a fucking TV show.
Which, at this stage, all we know about that TV show is that it exists, which is one step beyond this, because there's no official word yet. But, like, it's just goofy. Stop remaking. I don't want to be fatigued by Horizon in the same way that, like, if I never see Uncharted again, I won't ever care, you know?
I'd rather take an Uncharted. Like, genuinely, I'd rather they were. I still think they should have remade Uncharted 1. I still think that should have been the remake project.
Okay, that would have made sense. Like, what I mean by that is, like, if the Uncharted IP were to just disappear, I wouldn't be heartbroken by. Yeah, I know, but hypothetically, if it did, I wouldn't be heartbroken by that. I would be potentially interested in an Uncharted 1 remake, because Uncharted 1 was, it's old. It would make way more sense.
It's really old. I just don't get it. Like I say, I don't get it, and I know a lot of people have gone into it, but it's like, there are multiple reasons. The TV show reason is 100% the reason that they're going for this, and I feel like it's fucking stupid. I feel like it's really stupid, because one, when's the TV show coming out? Like 2024, 2025?
Yeah. Really? You already made that PS5 patch. If you're really concerned that people who watch TV and don't play video games can't, like, do the mental hoops to figure out that your PlayStation 4 game can play on the PlayStation 5, then just print a disc with the patched version of the game and put it in the PS5 box if you're so concerned.
The thing that pisses me off is I feel like we've heard that the Horizon Zero Dawn show is going to Netflix, for one, which is a big cause for concern, because, nothing good goes to fucking Netflix. Like, let's be real here.
Not a lot.
But here's the thing, is I swear that everything we've heard, I thought the rumor of the Horizon show was that it was to take place not in the game universe. It's not like the Uncharted movie, it's not like in the Uncharted movie where Tom Holland is playing Nathan Drake. It's like, from everything I've heard, Aloy's not in the TV show. It's like, it's the world of Horizon, but it's not with Aloy. It's before then. That was what the rumor was a long time ago, it was to take place before Zero Dawn. So I'm like, why the fuck are you remaking
I didn't read any of the rumors. I just read that it existed, and I'm like, oh, they should get Ygritte from Game of Thrones to be Aloy, because that's who I thought of when I saw Aloy in the first place. But if she's
hang on, let me look. Jeffy Grub leaked some stuff. Let's have a look. Yeah, it will include the timeline of where things begin to fall, but the show will be split halfway between showing you the fall of the world of like the modern world into the Horizon world. And instead of it just being like, oh look, here's glimpses of the past and here's Elizabeth Sobek and all of that, it'll be, oh no, you're gonna actually see the fall of humanity and then split between maybe Aloy. They just say that it'll be the world of it. It will not be a
I don't think I need
not
to
a
see the
reboot, a
fall of
remake,
humanity.
or remaining of the game's storyline. It will act as a companion to the games and take place parallel to them and explain other elements. And the show will be the show's likely to be filmed and based in Toronto. So it's like that thing, like nothing adds up to me about that. And then the other reasons, like I said, it was the first game to come to PC, so there's no reason for a PC like re-release. So the game doesn't need a remake for that because it's already on there. It's got a PS5 60 FPS patch. There's no fucking point in making a PS5 native version. They've done it before. They did it with Ghost of Tsushima, but to be fair to them, with the Ghost of Tsushima thing, at least it had a DLC coming with it. Like it's like they didn't frame it as a remake. They just framed it as a PS5 version. I just don't understand why the fuck they'd make this. It's a stupid idea. And it's like, I don't know if Jim Ryan just loves, like, I feel like Jim Ryan is one of those Joker fans. And what I mean by that is there are fans of the Joker 2019 movie because they like, I resonate with Arthur Fleck. Like, I resonate. He's a spirit animal. And I'm like, no, you're a clown, and so is he. Like, you're not supposed to, like, you feel bad. The point of the Joker movie is you feel bad for him, but you know that he's becoming a monster. You're not going, you know what? He has a point. That dude, he's going down the right path here. Like, no. And I feel like people are like that with this. Like, Jim Wright is just like, you know, people think I'm stupid and we're doing terrible decisions. Let's just keep making terrible decisions. Like, let's just keep doing this. Like I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm really looking forward to God of War. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man 2. I'm probably going to enjoy Wolverine, even though I've never been really an X-Men person. I probably will still pick up and probably like Wolverine. But it's like everything else from PlayStation right now seems so incredibly generic and so incredibly formulaic that I'm not excited for anything. I'm not excited for Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'm not excited for like whatever fucking Naughty Dog's making, because chances are they're just making Last of Us 3 and we're all just going to be sad.
It's just going to be Naughty Dog's game again, because we've seen what Naughty Dog's games are.
And I feel like PlayStation is going in the wrong direction. The thing that made PlayStation interesting was all the exclusives that they had and how varied everything was. And I feel like PlayStation 4 was a double-edged sword for them.
Yeah,
because they went and made all these successful games.
Talk about how, like, occasionally people who clown on Nintendo be like, oh, all they have is Mario and Zelda, blah, blah, blah. It feels like Sony is starting to do that with just their couple of top-level IPs now, as far as that's concerned. And, Yeah, but the difference is Sony's not doing anything else. Like, Nintendo has its... Yeah, Nintendo is... Yeah, like, that argument was always foolish because, you know, Nintendo has made, like, Splatoon and ARMS and whatnot since this was really... I think this argument was really popular in, like, the Wii U era because, of course it was. I mean, I'm not even saying that. I'm, like, saying that it's, like, Nintendo makes Xenoblade and they make Fire Emblem and they make all these smaller games that still sell millions because it's Nintendo and that's a Nintendo thing. That's not a normal, but Nintendo doesn't go, okay guys, we're going to release 2 games a year, but they're all going to sell 20 million units each time and they're the only games we're going for here as big shots only. No, they still release the 1 to 2 millions, and they don't see that as a failure. They don't see Xenoblade 3 they don't see Xenoblade 2 come out and only sell 2 million and go, that shit's a failure. They went, that sold way more than the first one. Let's do a third and a DLC. Yeah. Like Metroid Dread breaking franchise records probably chalks up as a win to them, even though it's probably not that hard to break the Metroid Dread franchise record.
Yeah.
On the Nintendo Switch.
It's not that impressive. And it's like Sony, I feel like it had those kind of games where Gravity Rush 2 sold way more than Gravity Rush 1 because it was on the Vita, but they still considered it a failure because it didn't sell up to their expectations or whatever have you. You know, they had everybody switch to they basically went Naughty Dog works, everybody become Naughty Dog. Please, everybody become Naughty Dog. I fucking beg of you. And that's what Santa Monica and Sucker Punch did. And it's whether for better or worse. In Santa Monica's case, I think it was better. I think that what they did with God of War was fantastic. On the other hand, what I think happened with Sucker Punch is it was for the worse. Because yes, I even though I don't personally love Ghost of Tsushima as much as everybody else did, I still think that Ghost of Tsushima is a good game, but I think everything that made Sucker Punch is not in Ghost of Tsushima. It's like Sly had rockets and like personality in it, as stupid as it was, and Infamous still had Sly's personality in it. It still carried those kind of comic booky traits to it. And then Ghost of Tsushima comes out, and it just feels like they were like,
Just
"Hey,
felt
you
like
guys are
everything else on the market.
Sucker Punch, you make you make Infamous. You basically are our open world dev. You're our open world dev that's been doing open world for a while. Make a fucking Naughty Dog world game with a fucking boring, bland story with a protagonist that is boring as sin, and I don't care what people say, Jin Sakai is not a good fucking video game character, in my opinion. His performance is good, but I think he's just dull and boring.
He
and
did the job.
He did the job, yeah. The performance is good. All the performances in Tsushima are good.
It's easy to be okay enough in in what is essentially a Batman story, you know? Like,
and adding a Sly headband and an Infamous fucking like Easter egg does not classify as, oh, this Sucker Punch game has Sucker Punch qualities to it. There's nothing Sucker Punch about that game, and I feel like it's moving in the same direction. I bet you this game that Bend is working on, as much as buggy and as like kind of imperfect as Days Gone was, Days Gone had a personality to it. It was different. It may have been a zombie game, but it also had a personality and a quirk that resonated with people. And instead, I can guarantee that Bender's probably doing a third-person action game that is probably a story game. And if that comes out, and if that's true, I'm going to be really disappointed because there's no variety in Sony anymore. And I feel like Horizon Remake is the next step where we're not even... It's like, I thought that them making third-person action games was gonna be the fucking boredom. No, it's they all gonna make the exact same fucking third-person... Like, Guerrilla's only gonna do Horizon. They apparently have another IP in the works, but they're only gonna do Horizon. And Sony Santa Monica, even though they have this sci-fi thing that Cory Barlog's apparently working on that's been rumoured for 6 bajillion years, they also... are just going to be the God of War people that are going to make those kinds of God of War games. And Naughty Dog is going to probably make either Last of Us Part 3 or something new or an Uncharted successor at some point in the future. And Sucker Punch is just going to make Ghost of Tsushima until Ghost of Tsushima's finished, and then they're probably going to make another third-person open world game. And it's like, oh, we really... where's the creativity gone? Like, genuinely.
Like, yeah, and they're talking about all this multiplayer hoopla that they also want to get started on or whatever. But I feel like that's going to get very samey very quickly too in a lot of what they're gonna do. Because I feel like most of this is going to be multiplayer stuff attached to one of these franchises that we're seeing probably too much of. So it's just kind of like... Imagine if all of Nintendo's series had the Mario sports and party treatment on it. Like, you'd be so sick of every one of those.
Yeah.
And I feel like the problem is as well with this whole kind of thing is people have mocked, and rightfully so, with Xbox, that for the past 10 years they've had fucking nothing but Halo and Forza. They have no games. And to be fair, they still have no games. I have a Series X, and the only game I fucking played on it that's an actual exclusive, technically, is Forza 5. Like, Forza Horizon 5 is literally the only fucking exclusive I have played on that machine, and I've owned it for nearly a year. And it's like, that's it. And yet they fucked up Halo Infinite. They royally screwed that game up right now. But at the end of the day, they're both on opposite paths. And what I mean by that is, Sony is trying to get all these online games and these games of a service and all that shit, when really single player is what made them unique. Microsoft has had Gears of War, has had Forza, has had, Halo. Why the fuck am I clowning on Halo? Forgetting Halo's name. But it has these multiplayer games already, and what have they been doing? Whether you like it or not, they've been acquiring all these fucking developers, like Double Fine, like the Activision Blizzard acquisition, like God, who makes Hellblade? I'm just trying to think of who makes
Ninja
Hellblade.
Theory.
Ninja Theory, like Obsidian. They've acquired all these single player companies to come after Sony, and the problem is now is they basically Xbox saw what Sony was doing in like 2015. It had all this variety in its single player exclusives, and was like, you know what? We need to do that. Let's acquire Double Fine. They make quirky video games that aren't always these big budget things. Let's make Ninja Theory. They make these kind of AA interesting kind of games that are have a lot of heart to them. Let's get Obsidian because they make these Western RPGs like Fallout New Vegas that people really fucking like. Let's diversify. And Sony's gone in the opposite direction and trying to make multiplayer. I'm like, hey, Xbox already has the fucking multiplayer shit they need. They have Call of Duty now basically as well. And it's like, Sony's doubling down on the wrong thing. They should be expanding into, okay, you should be having Guerrilla go, okay, if you've got two teams at Guerrilla and one of them's making Horizon, let's make sure the other team's doing something that isn't fucking Horizon, that's something completely different. Not be like, okay, guys, we're going to have Horizon 2, that's going to come out, then the following year we're going to have that Horizon VR, Call of the Mountain, and then the year after that we're going to have the Horizon Zero Dawn remake, and then after that we're probably going to have a Horizon 3, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like they're losing sight of what makes everything about their IPs special.
what makes Sony Sony?
Yeah.
Like,
and just as a market special with PlayStation, like I've always felt like there was a pretty solid variety of things, and then now it is literally going to be the doom and gloom of third-person action game, and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
it's just like this shit just makes me sad because it's like there's so many IP and so many brands that they could have
Sony
worked
has
on.
so much cool stuff in their vault, like Legend of Dragoon, Wild Arms, Gravity Rush, Jack and Daxter.
Sly Cooper.
They're just not going to it. They're just going to the same 3 franchises,
and they're not doing what Nintendo or Xbox have done in the past, which is, hey, we don't have the dev studios right now who want to work on these IPs. Who wants to work on these IPs? Like, Nintendo has all these IPs that just show up out of fucking nowhere, and you're like, why the fuck like, Sony would never make another Advance Wars. I mean, Nintendo's never releasing another Advance Wars, but Sony wouldn't make it in the first place. And it's like,
but it's like when Retro Studios did the Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah, or when the people that made Crypt and the Necrodancer did Cadence of Hyrule, or something like that, where it's like they take these smaller projects, and it's like Sony is just doubling down on everything being a AAA blockbuster, and it's like you're missing some of those quirks. It's like people always clown, and I hate when people say that it's like Double Fine should make a Banjo fucking game, and I'm like, just because it's a quirky studio doesn't mean they have to work on the quirky thing that someone else made. But it's like, they have Rare, who makes Sea of Thieves, and then Everwild, which will ever come out, whoever knows. They have Fable coming back. They outsourced Perfect Dark to basically be with Crystal Dynamics for the most part. They've done a lot of those kind of things where they're bringing all this stuff back that has variety to it, whether you like it or not. There's that awful fucking Redfall game that I think looks like really bad, but it's at least it's at least a bit of variety here. It's a bit of a different color palette, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. They've got both levels of first-person shooter covered with Doom and then Call of Duty for the more basic yutzes.
Yeah, and I mean, Call of Duty might actually benefit from the deal because they might actually not release it every single fucking year. Like, that's...
Yeah.
It's just like... It's just really sad. Go on, Cal. Sorry.
I was going to say, even still, like, if Sony has the chance to get their own, like, exclusive JRPG with Legend of Dragoon. I played it last year. Solid video game. It was made in the year 2000, but, give it some polish, touch it up, make it modern.
Do that. They're not going to do
I
that.
know they're not.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're just going to
Studio Japan thing that they dissolved.
They're just going to...
reason.
then that's the thing, is they're just going to sit there, and they're probably, at the end of the day, their solution to that will eventually be, whether we fucking like it or not, oh, what Japanese studio can we now acquire now that we dissolved Japan studio? That's what's going to happen, is within the next 4 years, it's probably going to be sooner, but I'd guess before 2026, Sony will probably acquire a Japanese studio, and in that fucking spiel, Jim Ryan will say some bollocks along the lines of, "We've always loved the creative, the unique and creative abilities of Japanese studios. We're excited to have bought Square Enix or fucking Atlas or whatever the fuck. No, Atlas or whatever they buy." It's like they're gonna do that, and they're gonna be like, "We love that," and it's like, fuck off! You literally killed your Japanese studio like a couple of years ago, and it's like, God bless Team Asobi, dude. I feel like they're the only fuckers left. Them and Media Molecule, who just sit there making dreams and just have fun with that. Bless those two teams, because.
And like the sad thing is, if like Sony gets into a point where they need to cut a studio now, I feel like Media Molecule is gonna be one of the ones that they get rid of.
I think
it's gonna be one of the first ones that they think of, because it's like, oh, you make the weird thing that doesn't do
that, or who makes made Concrete Genie, who haven't released a game in a while.
Right, Pixel
Opus. I feel like these studios are the ones that are on the fucking chopping block, like genuinely all the time, and it's like, just sucks. There, like I say, there are those studios for PlayStation. They have Pixel Opus and they have Media Molecule, but Media Molecule really streams, and they're probably not working on anything else because they're still working. They're just still updating Dreams.
They're still maintaining it, yeah.
And they do have those partnerships, like every so often. Like Sackboy: A Big Adventure was made by Sumo, and Little Big Planet 3, for better or for worse, was made by Sumo. But it's like, they should start doing stuff like that. They should start licensing.
It's not like. Out. Yeah, it's not like after Returnal they're gonna let Housemarque go and back to making something like one of their other games.
Oh, hell no!
Like Dead Nation.
Double down. Yeah,
they're gonna be like, you're gonna make Returnal except more AAA, and now make it linear too. And take all the things that made the first one interesting away.
I think Sony sits there.
Any way we can add crafting and collectibles into this game? I think we need more crafting and collectibles in this game.
I think Sony sits there just hoping that one day a developer's just going to show up, because that's what happened with Sly. They just hoped for a developer one day to just show up and go, "We really want to make a Sly game," and they went, "Cool, I guess you can." Like, they need to start going out there and going, "You know what? We have some great IPs for younger audiences that isn't just a Sackboy game every fucking half a decade and a Ratchet and Clank once every 10 years. Let's actually..." Or an Astro. Because it's like, yeah, Team Asobi's probably working on an Astro thing. I'd put money on it being a VR thing, though, probably. And it's like, as much as I love Astro, and to be fair, that would be a big selling point to me of a PSVR 2, would be if they did a full-blown Astro thing. But, you know, that's probably it. Ratchet and Clank, we already know the next 2 Insomniac games. We know that another Ratchet and Clank isn't going to come out till probably, at the earliest, the end of this generation. So it's like, that's not going to happen.
We'll get the
Microsoft's gonna
at the beginning of PS6 though.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, Rift Apart, Rift Apart remake. Can't wait for that. But it's like I say, just no creativity. I hope the good news is we don't know what most studios are working on. Is the good news? Maybe there are some surprises.
Maybe
that'd be nice.
Like I say, maybe we'll get to this point where we see Guerrilla Games, and we see the second project for Guerrilla, and we see the second project for Sony Santa Monica, and we see what Naughty Dog are working on, and they're all something completely different, and they all look awesome, and that's like dream come true. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But I know what Jim Ryan's like. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna Ben works on something creative. Not gonna happen. I hope so. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
God. Can we even be fucked to talk about PlayStation Stars? I don't know if we can be. Can we be fucked? That's also stupid.
It's dumb and pointless.
It's dumb and pointless. NFTs. This is obviously
going to be NFTs until they realized until it was a bad word.
It's an NFT thing that obviously they planned on doing until it wasn't. It's awful looking. It's awful fucking doing. Like, they added Nintendo points, but they're even worse fucking value because you have to buy a $70 game and you get like 2 cents back. So that's fucking epic. Good job, Sony. I love how your benefits include getting bullshit bollocks collectibles, and that's about it. And I also love how you added chat priority in your support system as a fucking feature of your support of this bullshit NFT system. That's a good job. But yeah, fuck it. Fuck it to hell and back, bro. Do something good for once, Sony. Is it too hard to? Is that hard?
Yeah.
Is it that hard?
Please.
Anyway, next on the list is the Mario movie. It's a Chris Pratt. That trailer came out. There was a direct and everything. Chris Pratt was like, I remember when I used to stomp what Koopas was it? I don't remember. I'm stalling when
he seemed like he was under duress the whole time he was talking before the trailer. Like there were 2 Splatoon snipers like standing right behind the camera, trained on him.
Yeah, I feel I like, here's the thing. I don't doubt in my mind that Chris Pratt played Mario when he was a kid, because he is of that age where everybody played Mario as a kid. So it's like, that's not the thing. People are like, he's struggling to think of things. I'm like, no, he's probably just like, oh god, they're probably like, can you record a message for the Nintendo Direct? And he's like, oh god, how do I even convey that it's like oh god, like he was probably like, oh god, yeah, Goombas, guys, like Koopas, like.
Yeah, I'm sure he
played
that was
it.
what
Yeah.
I thought he was about to say, was Goombas and switched to Koopas or whatever.
Yeah. The
And
whole
I'm
thing
sure,
felt
like,
pretty ad-libbed.
yeah, and I feel like it was probably more of and I feel for Chris Pratt in this way, of he knows he knows what the reaction online was to him being cast as Mario. So I'm sure and it's just like, hey guys, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not being terrible on purpose or whatever. Like, please, just trust me. And then Jack Black was just Jack Black. Like, Jack Black
Legit.
is just like
Yeah.
incredibly weird, but that's what Jack Black is. So massive respect to him.
Mm.
But obviously we saw the trailer. What were your thoughts of the Mario movie trailer? Because mine were quite positive, to be honest. I was like,
Honestly,
damn, they've put a lot of time into
It's
this.
very
'cause
well animated.
It looks really good.
For an Illumination production, I'm like, damn, this looks clean as anything. Like, it looks really well animated and good. That whole scene between the penguins and Bowser was incredibly funny. I was like, wow, that isn't even cringe in the
something
slightest.
that I could imagine happening in one of the good Paper Mario games, in one of Bowser's segments. Like,
Honestly.
it's not that much of a stretch. And Jack Black, the couple of lines he had in that trailer were really good.
Oh, Jack Black's gonna nail it as Bowser.
He's gonna
like,
carry that
genuinely.
movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, even like, yeah, like, here's the thing, my honest opinion of the Mario movie so far is I was pleasantly surprised. I think this is going to be, at worst, a decent movie. I don't think it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
From what I've seen
it's
there,
gonna
I
be
can see
fine.
that the people at Illumination have put, like, obviously haven't, like, enough, like, love and, like, support of the franchise that they have put their heart and soul into it. You can just tell from the way that it's animated, and just the whole style and everything. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting. It's a really, like, they have genuinely surprised me. Chris Pratt's Mario voice, I don't think I've heard enough of it yet, to be honest. Like, I'm not.
My favorite thing to come of this is that the one line he had at the end there, someone said he sounded like Linda from Bob's Burgers. They made an animation for it, and it was the best thing I've seen it was the best thing I saw
Kingdom,
all week.
Here we go. Like, I'm like,
I haven't heard surprised that Toad didn't sound like a child gargling marbles.
I like Toad's voice,
good.
to be honest. I like Toad's voice. It was good. It was pretty good. But like, even Chris Pratt's is like, I'm not like immediately sold on Chris Pratt as Mario, but I was also like,
it's not gonna be experience ruining. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, that we've heard 2 lines. For all I know, it could genuinely be all right. It could genuinely be like a decent enough job. But no, it's like everything I saw. I loved that the Luigi section had very much Luigi's Mansion vibes into it, like with the dry bones and the, like, all of that. That looks cool. Like I say, I think it just looks good. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good time. And it'll make a load of money, probably. It'll probably do really well. If the Sonic movie did well, then fucking hell, then...
Sonic movies.
Yeah. Well, all of both of them, and the third
Soon to be
coming.
3.
So, yeah, soon to be 3.
Yeah, if the Sonic movie, then Mario's more famous, and his games have been not
more well
received.
Yeah,
his games have been not horrible since I've been born. So
the only interesting thing is it'll be very interesting to see if they release a Mario game around the time, because they've run out of ports. Really,
Odyssey 2.
I feel like it's because Breath of the Wild is like sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. My apologies. Tears of the Kingdom is like May as well, and that's in April. So I feel like I feel like
they probably
it's too soon.
won't put anything like.
There's
it's
nothing
weird because they've run out of ports.
Yeah, they've done all the ports.
But I feel like that's where you would put a port.
I mean, Galaxy 2 is still on the table, but
I doubt
other than that,
maybe the Mario Kart
Paper
expansion.
Mario.
I feel like the best the Mario Kart expansion pass. I feel like the best thing to do would to be make a new track based on the Mushroom Kingdom from the movie for the Mario Kart 8 expansion pass, and just have it be this freak show of a level where it actually looks good in the expansion pass. Just like have one Mario Kart 8 quality level in the expansion pass somewhere.
Forget the Mushroom Kingdom. Cool. Give me the penguins.
I did also like that. I liked how Bowser's thing was just like an island, floating island, and he just went to the penguin area, and the penguin area also just looked like a weird island. I'm like, is this how Mario worlds work? Are they just really weird islands? Like,
why not?
It's the snow world.
It was interesting.
The penguin's absurdly deep voice.
That is just a fraction of our power. To be fair, it was just funny that one Koopa just got fucking headshot with the fucking trebuchet thing, just like
Yeah, it was really good.
I do not.
I do. I do like
it. It was genuinely funny. It was genuinely funny. It was genuinely funny.
Jack Black doesn't just sound like Jack Black either. Like, you know how in like Kung Fu Panda, as great as he is in that movie, he's still very easy to tell he's Jack Black. Like,
But like I say, Jack Black's done animation before though, so I feel like he's done voice acting before. I mean,
he's also very cartoony in just
he's
the
a
way
cartoony
he is.
individual.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably watch it in the end. I'll probably go to cinemas and watch it. It looks fun.
Will.
It looks fun. And like I say, I feel like there's a lot of negativity on the internet. And I was like, why? It was like, what was wrong with that? It's a kid's film.
It was a minute and a half trailer.
I think the thing is, like, people wanted it to be bad, so even if it's
they're mad. They were expecting a full-on shit show. Like, they were expecting like Mario Brothers Super Show like level.
It's like
cringe, weren't they?
Yeah. And so, like, before this trailer, I was not very interested because I'm like, the notion of Chris Pratt as Mario didn't really amuse me in the same way it tickled everybody else. But so I'm like, it'll probably be a kid's movie and it'll be fine at worst. But now that I've seen the trailer, I'm like, yeah, it probably will be fine at worst, and maybe it'll be better than that. Who knows?
I think it'll be good. And also, like, casting stuff, it's just like, I don't know. This might lead like. I feel like this might unironically do better for Nintendo in terms of a start to their cinematic like endeavors than Sony's bollocks in fucking little romp that they've had so far with Uncharted and The Last of Us and all that. Sony's been going really ham. I feel like Nintendo's just like, yeah, Illumination, if you want to work on a Mario movie, go ahead. Miyamoto seems up for it because Miyamoto does everything but not make games anymore. He just fucking walks around. You're making a theme park for us? Yeah, I guess you can make a movie as well. Just go for it. And I feel like it's going to do massive.
Miyamoto's next game is going to be like a Nintendo-themed roller coaster tycoon to let us know how he's been experiencing life for the past couple of years, helping them make the theme park or whatever.
Yeah, and I think Universal's a good fit in it for Nintendo stuff, to be honest, because it's like I'm not expecting Illumination to do everything Nintendo now, but it's like. Yeah. I feel like DreamWorks and Zelda would be a really good fit. I'm just saying, Universal. DreamWorks as a studio, like How to Train Your Dragon kind of vibes. I feel like they could kind of nail a Legend of Zelda. If you were giving Zelda to anybody, give it to DreamWorks.
If you're gonna give it to like a Western Hollywood kind of thing, then yeah.
Because I'm sure Illumination will make a second Mario movie and a third and a fourth, because look at Despicable Me.
And then a Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, and then their minions will just be Luigi's Mansion. And it's like, to be fair, that would be really fun to be honest. A Luigi's Mansion movie would be kind of fun. That would be good.
I feel like a
with
Luigi's
Charlie Day,
Mansion
that would be good, to be honest.
Comes sooner than we think it would.
Oh yeah,
they already hinted at it.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of potential there.
WarioWare.
Oh my god.
That'd be one of their TV shows, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's their one division, dude, is WarioWare.
That's when we hit Mario. That's when we hit the real MCU phase 4. Mario Cinematic Universe.
No, yeah. That's when the Fire Emblem movies start happening, and you're like, oh fucking hell.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Turn Xenoblade into like a 9 fucking picture epic. You're like, oh fucking hell.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Give that DreamWorks as well. Don't let Illumination make that. Give that DreamWorks.
No, just let Takahashi do it.
Give the studio. Yeah. Well, if they're gonna work with Universal, give the IPs I like to DreamWorks, and then Illumination could have everybody else. Illumination, you could have Mario and Kirby. There you go, and Donkey Kong. You could have those ones.
You can make Star Fox.
You can have everything. Yeah, why not? Anyway, but no, I have high hopes. We'll see. I think it'll be fun. Like I say, the Sonic movie was good, so I feel like this will be at least acceptable for a kids movie.
And people like Detective Pikachu also.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see where Charles. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Charles Martinet shows up in that film as well. I think it'll be interesting. I hope they said it's cameos and stuff like that. I really do hope that it is like if Wario just shows up for a second, it's his Wario or something like that. That'd be really funny.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Like, give him an actual character, not just like a fucking shithead in the corner. That'd be wonderful. Anyway. Next up on the list is Crash Bandicoot Copium continues in the year 2022. People won't let him die.
Oh my god.
Canadian guy A, well, Lord and Savior. How much? Honestly, if Wumpa League is actually real, dude, I'm so tempted to be like, yo, Canadian guy, come on our show. We have shat on you so much for keeping the fucking Wumpa League hype real that I feel like I need to publicly apologize. Because I feel like he's the sole individual that has kept this fucking game in existence at this point. So
it'd be like if my 2D Metroid thing extended beyond the year that I said it would.
Yeah, like genuinely. So yeah, for those of you who are unaware, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is coming to Steam next week, is it? I think it's next week. October 18th, is it? Or 14th?
I think so.
14th?
It's in a couple weeks.
Something like that. It's either next week or the week after. It's coming to Steam, which is great. It should have always been on Steam. And I'll probably pick it up on a Steam sale at some point. So I have a PC copy because I refuse to buy the Battle.net version because fuck Battle.net. It's awful.
October 18th.
October 18th. I did go. I'm surprised. I knew that it was the 18th. Which is a weird day, Tuesday, but they obviously don't want to go on Persona 5 Friday, dude, or against Gotham Knights and Persona 5.
Yeah, its biggest competition's Plague Tale comes out on the 18th.
Fucking 5 people again, but they're not on the page.
I'm not even buying Plague Tale right away.
I could play it, but
I'm a nerd.
I could play it because it's on Game Pass, but the problem is the original went off the month before the new one comes to Game Pass. I'm like, who the fuck does that? I was gonna play. I was
made that decision.
I would have probably put the fucker like, new game comes out. Let's remove old game before they have chance to play for new game. I'm like
it's okay. It's not a horror game, but it's like spooky adjacent, especially if you're scared of rats. So,
Adjacent.
having that up for October just on your little catalog of things to play would have been a good move, but they got rid of it before the sequel comes out.
What a fucking joke. Anyway, story is, guys, story time. Settle down for a Canadian guy a story. This is not one of his theories. Jack, don't worry. You don't have to sit through another theory. But he got a pizza box that was called Aku Aku Steaming Pizza, which is, haha, very funny. It's for Steam, guys. So, interestingly, guys, put your tinfoil hats on and at the ready. The little receipt, like the thing at the bottom that tells you what's on the pizza, it basically said Crash 4 is coming to Steam on October 18th. Okay, easy enough. But you ready for this bit, Cunty? You ready for this bit? Get your tinfoil hat on. It also said on it, hungry for more? Try our new Wumpa pizza for only $12.08. And for those of you...
$12.08.
Yes, the Game Awards is on the 8th of December 2022. And so it says, hungry for more, 8th of December, Game Awards. So it's basically confirmed at this stage that the next Crash Bandicoot project will be happening at Jeff Keighley's Boredom Fest on December 8th.
Hooray.
Which is sad
Boredom
now, because
Fest.
every year I'm like, I'm not watching the Game Awards this year, and I'm like, you know what, I will. Now I will, because I know that there's a Crash thing that's happening, but it's like... Ugh.
I would love if it was just the guy in the Crash suit harassing Jeff Keighley and there's no game.
I really, my hope,
the whole show.
My hope is Jeff Keighley is standing on his little, is standing on the center
His
stage.
little platform.
And the little side, platform, the little, fucking thing on the side? I really hope the Crash guy is in his mascot suit with a fucking Wumpa bazooka and fires it at Jeff Keighley, shoots Jeff Keighley in the head with a fucking Wumpa fruit, and he goes, Wumpa League! And then the trailer plays. That's what my hope is. That's my fucking headcanon. Fucking headshots the prick. Get him down. I'm sorry, Jeff, I love you. But also, nothing would make my day more than Crash Bandicoot fucking
also,
shooting you
idea.
with a Wumpa fruit in the head, doing the Crash dance, dabbing and saying Wumpa League, and then the trailer playing. That would be my absolute dream.
You'd hear me out. Crash Bandicoot and Fortnite.
Yeah, I'd love that too.
They had the Crash dance as a dance.
Oh, that'd be epic. But,
and then all the kiddos who don't know what a Crash Bandicoot is get confused.
I mean,
then all the dumb kids who don't know what a Crash Bandicoot is do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be better than
it gives us something to look forward to for Game Awards. There's at least one thing now that we'll have some remote interest in at some point.
I'm pretty sure Kojima's gonna be at the Game Awards too.
That's two things.
He's gotta be.
With whatever this Al Fanning thing.
With his friends with Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, and he's also been playing. He's been playing his little marketing games this past week too. So
I know this is.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be
in our
at the
Game Awards. We'll talk about this in our Game Awards predictions later, in early December, probably, Hunter. But if you were to go, it's like heads or tails, right? Do you think this thing that he's been teasing? Do you think this is the Sony project or the Microsoft Xbox project? Which one do you think this is?
I think this one is the Sony thing. Because just the way it looks, you've been
I do too. I think it looks it's Death Stranding
the
vibes.
Dumbest thing I've said in a long time, but the strings on the pictures look like the strands in Death Stranding's marketing images.
I think it's Death Stranding 2. I think it's Death Stranding 2.
But
the question is Death Stranding 2 a sequel? And what I mean by that is, do you think it is more walking around a fucking field building bridges again? Or do you think that it'll be Death Stranding 2, but it's a completely different video game? That's what I'm interested in.
I don't know.
Also, who's she playing? Who do you think Al's playing? Do you think she's playing a character? Is it a prequel? Is it a sequel? Is that Lou? Is she playing Lou, like the baby?
So, who knows, man? It'd be crazy. But there's no predicting Kojima.
True.
But because if it was walking around and delivering things again, would he pick a different country then?
Yeah. Maybe.
It's not like he just
Is he going to do a Breath of the Wild, same world? Yeah.
He just made North America Icelandic beaches anyway, so you know. But yeah, it's like if we were doing the same thing, or if it was a follow-up to Death Stranding, like, and its story, I don't imagine that you'd be doing the same kind of thing. But if he's
Yeah.
going somewhere else, like if it just has the name, it's like different people and a different story.
Or is he going to do one of
then-
those things where he sells the entire game as a sequel to Death Stranding with all those elements, and then you get about 10 hours in and it's a completely fucking different video game, and it's like, oh, classic Kojima.
You play
again.
play the first 2 hours as Norman Reedus, and then suddenly you're playing as
It's
someone
Al
else.
Fanning, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's no longer a fucking parcel delivery game. It's like something else entirely. Like, yeah. It'll be interesting. There's more stuff to look forward to at this year's Game Awards, I feel like, than there is in usual years. Nintendo will probably have something. We say that every year, though, and most of the time they don't, so, you know.
I don't know. I feel like more so than these past years, it's not unreasonable to think a Zelda trailer might be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Maybe
it'll
will show
either be
something.
there. It'll either be there, or they'd have it at the direct that they typically do in February.
Yeah, one or the other.
Or both.
We'll see. So yeah, I look forward to Crash and Kojima at the Game Awards. Maybe 1-1. Maybe he's making Wumpa League. Who knows? Maybe Al Fanning is
Oh
in
my
Wumpa
God.
League.
That's what the world needs.
That's So I take it back. My new thing is Al Fanning is going to be in the Crash suit and shoot Jeff Keighley with the Wumpa bazooka, and then Kojima's going to run out on stage and say Wumpa League, and then the trailer will play.
the
That's my
Crash
new
dance.
one. Yeah, and then they're going to dab on his fucking body as he's collapsed on the floor. That's going to be epic. Can't wait.
Oh.
That doesn't happen, Jeff. I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm also sorry for calling you a prick earlier. That was just in the moment. Jim Ryan's an actual prick. You're not, Jeff. I like you. Your shows are too long, but you're all right. You're a good guy. I know. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I know that you're trying to do well. Anyway, we're still going. CD Projekt Red, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah, this.
Okay, so please fill me in on this, because I don't know what this is.
Okay, so CD Projekt Red, who is the studio most known for making the Witcher games and that little
Correct.
tiny game that went perfectly well and definitely did not have any issues on launch, called
Not at
Cyberpunk
all.
2077. That's a video
I've
game.
heard of that one.
So,
They took
for
it off
those-
the PS4.
they did take it off the PS4, and as far as I'm aware now, the game's all right now. As far as I'm aware, but what I
don't
hate
think
is
it's
how
getting any
everyone's.
more patches.
It's not on base PS4. No, it's not getting any more like content patches. So they're still going to fix performance and everything on PS4 further and Xbox One, but all the
Okay.
content is only coming to the next gen now from this point forward. Anyway, so CD Projekt went on a massive little spiel where they did what most companies don't do, which is they just basically told everybody what their internal plans are for like the next decade is essentially what they've done. So I think this is actually a really good move, because the amount of times that Jason Schreier leaks something on fucking Twitter when they're like, the new Tomb Raider game's in development, it's being made by these people, you'll see it in 3 years, bye. And it's like, well, that's the fun gone. I'd much rather if the people themselves didn't have to hide that they were working on a Witcher game for 6 years by just saying, hey guys, our studio's working on a Witcher game next. There you
You'll
go.
see it
done.
when you
You'll
see
see it
it.
when you see it. Perfectly fine. Much rather they do this. So, they did a number of announcements. So, the first one is they announced The Witcher. They announced a new Witcher trilogy, very bold, but their main studio is going to be working on a new trilogy of Witcher games, with the first one being codenamed Polaris, which has entered pre-production. It's the beginning of the new saga. We aim to release 2 more Witcher games after Polaris, creating a trilogy. So they're just doing another trilogy for that. They also announced that they're making a new studio called CD Projekt Red North America. Very subtle name, but that is where the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077 will be released. It will be being made called codenamed Orion. So they're making both at the same time, but they're making a whole new dev studio for Cyberpunk. I mean, most of the Cyberpunk team is moving to America and making a new studio to make that. But that'll happen after the expansion and all of that's finished, which is interesting. So 3 of those. They also have 2 side projects with other companies working on Witcher games. So that's also happening. And then they're also working on a 3rd IP, which isn't Cyberpunk or Witcher, but that's very, very early days, they say. It's called codenamed Hadar. It's an entirely distinct IP created from scratch within CD Projekt Red. The project is in the earliest of stages, which means we are not developing anything yet, but working exclusively on the foundation for the setting. So basically, if you're a CD Projekt Red fan, you have a new Witcher game in pre-production. They're basically saying, hey guys, you'll probably have the new Witcher, then Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, then you've got 2 more Witcher games to look forward to after that, a new IP, and then the Cyberpunk studio will probably continue doing Cyberpunk. So it's an interesting way of doing things. Like I say,
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good move, especially from a company that had such criticism on their last release, to just be entirely open, be like, hey, this is what we're doing. And I think they're very much going to go on the bold strategy of, we'll release this shit when it's ready. You now know it exists, but we ain't showing shit.
I sure hope that they release it when it's ready instead of what had to happen with Cyberpunk 2077. Like, lucky them, it's better now, according to everyone else. But
I also think it's important that you don't forget that they fucked it up. I feel like that's people seem to be very easy to forgive and forget.
This narrative that has been spinning lately about, like, ever since that animated show came out and people hopped back onto Cyberpunk again, was now I've been seeing some clowns saying that it's always been good, and I'm like, it couldn't be played on half of the things it released on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this isn't being petty. You shouldn't let
I
them
still
get
haven't
away
played
with
it.
that.
I own it. I haven't played it yet.
Don't let them forget that. Make them make the finished game. Like, that's my one thing, is like, because they said this was like, what, over the course of, this is just the next several projects,
like decade, basically
several years. So, like, I think when I originally skimmed that, I missed like the timeline, so I thought that this was all like stuff that they said was coming soon. I'm like, oh no, don't. I'm like, I hope that upper management doesn't start fires that the dev teams have to continue to put out, like with Cyberpunk.
And I mean, they did this to celebrate their 20th anniversary. They basically were like, hey, we're 20 years old, here's the next decade, as I think their plan was what they were doing. And I think, making a new studio is probably a good idea, especially if you do want to continue doing multiple franchises and IP and don't want to sit there doing what Naughty Dog was basically doing for a while, where it was like, okay, we've just made The Last of Us, we'll make an Uncharted, then we'll come back to Last of Us, and then we'll go to something else. I feel like, hey, if you've got something that works, I mean, it
does amuse me that they're making the new studio and sending the team that made Cyberpunk to North America.
Off you go. Goodbye.
Did you exile them? Is that what this is?
I think it's core team members. It's not everybody. It's just the core. It's like the head of like development and whatever. They're also not moving until after they finish the DLC that's supposed to come out next year. Which is interesting. I don't know when I'm going to play Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's one of those games where it's like, I've owned it for like a year now because it was super cheap a year ago. I was like, I'm going to buy it before the next gen update, so it's still cheap. So I got it for like 10 quid. It's like, it's fixed right now. Like, I could happily play it now, but they said, oh, we're doing like one more patch to fix like the police systems. I'm like, I can just wait for that. And if I'm waiting for that, do I just wait for the big expansion and play it all at once? Or is that too much and I should just play it before? I'm like, I don't know when to play it.
I mean, I don't know. Are you just going to play the main game and then...
Depends if I like it. Depends if I like it. That's the whole thing. It's like, when do I give this game a shot? I don't know.
Are you just afraid of playing it?
No. Not really.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing to be afraid of. It's like every game. I can't be arsed. That's me. I can't be arsed to play video games, Carl. You know what I'm like. I
fair.
begrudgingly like. It's not
too.
even if I. It's not even that I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I don't want to play." It's like I started playing Mass Effect 2 today because I was like, I'm just gonna finally sit down. I've said like I beat Mass Effect 1. I was like, when did I beat Mass Effect 1? It was January, and I was like, I said I'd take a 3-month break, and then it's been like 9,
It's
and I'm still
October.
here. Yeah, I'm like, fucking sit down and play it. And I was playing it. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I like this. It's good. The writing's very good. People speak in fucking monologues for some reason, but other than that, it's very good. And it's the same as Cyberpunk. I probably would like Cyberpunk, especially now it's fixed and I'm playing it on PS5. But I think it's that promise of one more patch. It's just like, oh, one more patch. Okay, maybe I'll just hold off for that one last patch. And then after that patch, they'll be like, there's one more thing we want to do. I'm like, oh, I might wait for that.
Yeah, but what if the next patch accidentally breaks something?
Who knows? They'll fix it.
Think about it.
They'll fix it. They're stuck. They're in No Man's Sky fucking territory. They have to fix everything now. That's the rule.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And also the big thing that I should have mentioned as well is starting with this new Witcher game, they've moved away from their proprietary engine to Unreal, which should make development a lot easier for everything involved. My favorite CD Projekt story is my friend Fraser had a glitch in The Witcher where quest like reward items didn't spawn, and they just had a sign next to the fucking chest, like hard coded into the game, like an actual sign that you could read. They just said, "Hey guys, this quest bugged, and we could never figure out what happened. So sorry if it's bugged." And that's like it.
Amazing.
And it's like I said,
It's
and this
fantastic.
is like my thing was, okay, why didn't they just put a chest there next to the side with the quest reward items in it? Because I'm like, the worst case scenario there is, oh no, someone has 2 of the same sword as a reward. I'm like, it's better than no fucker having it. Like, why put a sign if you're not just gonna put a thing with the item in it? Dumb. But who knows? It's all interesting stuff. Like I say, hopefully.
Yeah.
They should do better. They should do better. Anyway.
It's nice to see like the roadmap laid out too, instead of just like you said, instead of being secretive about this.
It's what I hate
it
about the games
it makes
industry.
no sense why the gaming industry wants to keep everything a secret.
Especially when it's hiding NDAs under NDAs under NDAs. It's why I liked what Assassin's Creed's doing as well, now that they've said, hey, here's the next 5 or 6 years of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's perplexing too, because it's not like they ever managed to successfully maintain the mystery.
No, because it always gets leaked.
Everything gets leaked anyway, so lay it out, and then at least there will be the surprise of when are we gonna see it?
It's like my favorite game. I will always treasure the Nintendo Switch announcement event in January 2017, where 4chan had leaked the entirety of the fucking presentation in presentation order a couple of days beforehand. So my favorite is just watching the reactions of people who had the 4chan leak up, and then like Mario shows, and when Mario throws the cap and it shows the Mario Odyssey logo, you just have literally there's reactions of people of them throwing the cap and them going Mario Odyssey, Mario Odyssey, Mario Odyssey, and then the logo shows up and they're like, yeah, Mario Odyssey, cool.
Oh my God.
4chan's right. It's pointless, especially when you've got people like Jeff Grubb and Jason Schreier. They're gonna tell you what's happening anyways, and just fucking spill the beans. Tell me what Sucker Punch. Just say, how hard is it for Sucker Punch? Just be like, yeah, we're working on a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Cool, whatever. Just tell us. If it's a new IP, fair enough. I feel like that's fair. Or at least say we're working on a new IP. Like, go on.
Yeah, we're working on a new IP, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. See you when it's released.
Yeah, it's just gonna get mailed to your house one day.
We'll see you for Rocket Robot on Wheels 2.
And you'll be scared to put it
imagine.
in your console.
Imagine.
Because it'd be a black case with a black disc and no title.
What game? That'd be incredible.
Video Games, the Black Album.
Never heard of it. It'd be really funny if Corey's IP was called Never Heard of It. Like, that was the name of the IP, and he's just been fucking memeing about it this entire time. Imagine. Anyway. That's it for gaming news.
Hooray.
The astute of you may have realised that we haven't talked about Persona. Don't you worry, we'll get to that next week. We're saving that for a special occasion, because the anniversary event's over, but there's a Famitsu article still to come, so we're going to wait for that to then bully Atlas. We'll do that next week. One thing I will say is that new art for the ending 25th anniversary art of the P3 box art, basically, but with all the protagonists from the Persona games that Atlas cares
3,
about.
4,
Very
and 5,
cool.
yeah. That was a nice little thing.
Very cool.
I did enjoy seeing
It's very
that.
nice. It's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and Persona 4 Golden finally free on January, and Persona 3, I hope it looks better than it did in those original trailers, because that looked like a really rough port. But port 4 is a good port, we know that, because it's been on Steam for fucking 3 years. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years, it was 2020. Anyway, you guys have been playing Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it
Indeed.
up with some Bayonetta.
So, a couple of years ago, like when that port of the first game came in that bundle with Vanquish on a disc, is when I picked up Bayonetta and I started it that some weekend. And I started it at a friend's place, actually. It was hilarious because he just saw it and he didn't have any knowledge of what Bayonetta was. So he didn't know that like it was the original DMC team that made it or anything like that. So he just saw
didn't know that.
Bayonetta doing Bayonetta's thing. And he looked at me with like abject confusion because he's like, "What? You of all people?" And, then when it got to the point, I explained to him what it was, and I'm like, yeah. So I played like, so I forget why I didn't finish it. Probably something came out, took my attention away from it. I loaded up the save that I had. I was in like chapter 6, like mid chapter 2. Like I took 2 steps. And I was suddenly in a fight, and I'm like, oh, great. Didn't take that long to get back into the swing of things, but yeah.
And
Solid
I'm playing
action
it for the
game.
first time.
Yeah, you're playing it for the first time. How did you like it?
I saw that you were playing it, and I'm like, you know what? Game 3's out at the end of this month. Let's actually give these games a shot. So I bought the double pack on the Switch.
Blasphemous. Digital?
Yeah.
Blasphemous. How dare you?
Look, man, it was easier than going back outside.
True. I just get it. Order them online, dummy. You just have to wait a day. Just sit around
No.
twiddling your thumbs.
Maybe I don't want to play it. Maybe I won't want to play it the next day.
Funny thing is about Bayonetta on Switch is the one's a digital download code anyway, so it's like you only get 2 on the cart.
Outstanding.
I think they've made a box for it.
They've made a
now.
special. They're releasing a version of Bayonetta 1 on a cart if you really care. But at that, to that, I say
I might get that eventually because like having all 3 of them at the same spot. Because I got the second game secondhand, so I don't know if the code works.
on that, all I have to say on that is you're going to be annoyed because on the Bayonetta case it says Bayonetta 1 plus 2. So someone that has all 3 physically will have Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 1 plus 2, and Bayonetta 3. So that just triggered the fuck out of me personally because I'll be like, what the fuck? Why did you put 1 plus 2 if the 2 is the only one on the cart? Anyway, could have at least called it like Bayonetta the something collection or something. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah,
Kyle?
how do you like the game, Kyle? Since
it's no DMC, but it's still really fun.
yeah, it's 2 is a marked improvement from It's been a while since I've played 2 at this point. I played it back in like 2017.
Well,
but
hey, replay the second one with me.
I got other things to do.
No, you don't. What do you have to do? You fucking
fair.
liar. You
Well,
liar.
now I'm playing Resident Evil 4. I started that like an hour before we started recording.
Oh, yeah,
You've played
yeah.
Resident Evil 4 a million times.
I haven't played it in a long time. It's been longer since the last time I played Resident
Yeah, but
Evil
that
4
remake's
was
not out
before
until
I
like
played...
what, March?
True, but I don't need to replay Bayonetta
Wait
to
for the
know what's
remake.
going on because you know what? What's going to happen in Bayonetta 3 is going to be utter nonsense anyway because that's what these games
You know
are.
what? Truth.
Like
This first game was wacky.
Bayonetta 2 genuinely has one of the stupidest first levels in a video game, but also
But it's
Bayonetta
so
2's first
great,
level is
man.
my favorite level in that entire franchise. Like out of those
It
2
started-
games, that first level is like my favorite thing in the Bayonetta games. By
It's
far.
fantastic, man. Like, yeah, I really like.
It's
the
really
first
fucking
level
bonkers,
and
but it's
2.
really good.
But yeah, this first game, their weird experiments with some of the stuff that they did was hit and miss. like late in the game. There was that Star Fox tribute level
Oh my
before
God,
the
that
one
was
fight with Sean.
awful.
It took so. I was like, oh, cool.
Why did it go on for so
Yeah,
long?
I know.
level sucked.
At first, I was like, "Oh, cool, a Star Fox tribute," and then it just kept going. I'm like, "Okay, I've had enough. Come on now."
That level, like, it fucking
Dude.
sucks.
That's a real
Yeah.
shame because like the fight with Jean was really fucking good, but I don't
Yeah.
want to replay the Star Fox bit to do that boss fight again.
Yeah, I liked that fight quite a bit. The final battle with Jubileus, I feel like was much more style over substance
Absolutely.
because like the camera was fighting with you the whole time.
Half the time, the jump button, like the jump
Just
prompt
did
that came
Yeah,
up,
the
didn't
jump
work.
prompt just didn't work.
Oh
Yeah,
my
like,
God, I thought I was
no,
screwing
that
something up.
happened.
I'm
That
so
happened to
glad
me
that happened to
earlier
you
too. So yeah, thanks. But yeah, that it happened to me earlier too, and I'm like, what gives?
Honestly.
But like that's fine, I guess, because fighting Baldur, the mission beforehand, felt like the more final challenge anyway.
Mhm.
I
But
don't remember.
you know, yeah,
I
that's
remember
fair.
nothing about this video. I played it 5 years ago. Like I remember like very specific parts. I remember the part with the fight on the bridge that was bollocks near the start. There's like you go through
Oh
a
yeah.
gate and you're on that bridge and there's that big monster. It's shite. Absolute
Oh
garbage
yeah,
fight.
and it's like chasing you or whatever.
Yeah, dog
Or-
shit
yeah.
fight. I remember the bit in the graveyard at the start, obviously.
Yeah.
I remember the bullshit space level at the end that took 25 fucking million years, and I was like, when will this end? It's just fucking corridor simulator, like god damn. And then I really don't remember anything else. That my problem with Bayonetta 1 is Bayonetta 2 is actually shorter than Bayonetta 1.
Mhm.
But I think Bayonetta 1 just drags. I think it's really fucking it goes on forever.
I feel like most of the missions could be at least 3 to 5 minutes shorter.
Oh, at
Yeah.
least, yeah.
Yeah. Except for the ones that are like solitary boss fights, which are a few of them, but you know. But yeah, I mean some of their cool action, some of their action set pieces were neat, like the Uncharted 3 box jumping, except
Oh
better.
my God.
That was cool, coming out of the plane and stuff. You know, the characters are all fun enough. Like
Mhm.
Yuri Lowenthal's character, playing this after AI, the Somnium Files now, I'm like, oh, you would be buddies with Date.
He totally would be.
Yeah, it's so
I
great.
hate
And yeah, I didn't have that kind of perspective when I played 2 because, well, Somnium Files didn't exist yet. I also like how they handle him being a regular powered human, seeming like he'd be a relatively competent person if he wasn't
Mhm.
stood next to someone with superpowers fighting
Yeah.
things that weren't, you know,
He's got like his
ridiculous.
Spider-Man grappling hook.
Yeah.
No,
It's- Yeah, it's
game was
interesting.
fun, but it was kind of repetitive at times. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was also released in 2009.
Yeah.
What can you expect?
The enemies sucker punch you after every cutscene.
God, all the
Dude.
time.
Dude, like
The ships just
a
sending a barrage of missiles on
oh
you.
yeah, that's the other problem I have. Like as far as like the gameplay is concerned, the sucker punches out of cutscenes, which you know, at a certain point when I got to like mission 13 and I was still letting that happen to me, you know, I feel like that's on me at that point because I'm
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
know this is a pattern, I'm just not responding to it. But and that's just something Hideki Kamiya likes to do. DMC1 had enemies that did that, except it was reasonably telegraphed. Like I was never hit by Shadow's spinning boy and attack in the first Devil May Cry game because it happens super slowly and you can move. As opposed to there's the fade to black and then it pops back in for the fights and then you just hit right away.
Exactly.
But
Also,
the other problem is that like you get stun locked super easily in this game sometimes. Like I got killed by Jubileus at the end because I got frozen, and every time I unfroze, I got frozen again. I was like, well, this is dumb.
most of my death, actually, I'm pretty sure all of my deaths just came from quick time events being way too freaking strict.
Yeah, that too. Their button prompts for like the things it's like you have to know they're coming to be able to hit it, or
Yeah.
you're screwed. And then, that's fine if it's whatever, slap on the wrist, try again. But some of these are like in the middle of boss fights that will just kill you, and then you have to do like the whole part of it again. And that's a little irritating.
And the prompts are only up for like a second. And
Oh,
if
I
you
hate
accidentally
that. Fuck
graze
that,
the
mate.
wrong button,
Yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
that
graze
too.
the wrong button and oops, you're dead.
Yeah, and the
Do it
game's just
again.
like, yeah, no. Imagine.
As far as the nicer things about the game, I do like the torture attacks and the climax things to happen for the that's cool little flavor on the variety in your enemies. It's kind of like Nero's Buster in the DMC games, where it's just something to do to every enemy that makes it feel it spreads out the enemy variety, even if there's not actually that much difference in what you're fighting. Makes it just feel a little bit more dynamic.
I like the torture attacks because if there was an enemy I didn't want to deal with, I could just be like, all right, goodbye. Like push the delete button really quick.
Yeah.
And as far as bosses, I mean, like, for me personally, besides the fights with Jean, I didn't think any of them were really that good.
Oh man,
They weren't
okay.
terrible, but they weren't great.
There was one I liked, but I can't remember his name because the names in
Exactly.
these games are gibberish.
They were not memorable.
I liked the fight with Baldur, like I said earlier, but there was one of those big angel jerks that were I liked, but I don't remember which one it was. I think I think it was the plant guy that ambushed you when you got back to the air base. I think that's what that was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't like that one.
I thought that was probably the best of those fights.
Until I realized what I was doing wrong in that fight, I just thought it was super tedious.
No.
I'm like, what if I just can I just bounce this attack back to him? And I'm like, sure enough,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah. I think I picked up on that right away, so I didn't deal with the same tedium.
Yeah, but you've played more of these kinds of games than I have.
Dude, I just try to bounce things back at people. Like
I just mash the button. I find a combo
Yeah.
that works and just fucking use that for the entire video game. Variety is fucking boring. Why, when you can just press fucking X, 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 Y, or whatever the fuck, there you go, done. What a combo. But now, fair enough, you have to keep us updated with your thoughts on 2. I'm sure you'll probably play it, like, soonish, so...
Soonish, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know, I've got a few weeks before the third one's out.
true.
Yeah, it'll only take you like you beat the first
5
game in a
hours,
day.
4
So
And I got
yeah.
these, I bought this game Wednesday or Thursday. And now it's finished it this morning, Saturday the 8th.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you could beat the second one pretty quickly.
I believe in you. You can do it.
Maybe I'll play
Thanks,
the
Ethan.
first level of the second one just because.
I won't.
Dude, maybe
You can't make
maybe I'll play it in the call with you guys.
Oh god, no, not Bayonetta. No. Don't like it that much. But no. I guess with that, that's our jam-packed show done. I can't think of anything else to talk about. Yeah, we're good. I feel like we've covered everything. We've been on a right little tour
Wow.
from being
This was
positive
a long
about
episode.
Overwatch
Oh
and
my
the Mario
God.
movie. Yeah, it's been very long. I thought it was going to be on the shorter side, but every time that I'm like, we're going to do a shorter one this week. It's never.
The PlayStation thing went on longer than we thought it was going to.
Well, I didn't realize how angry I was. You know what I mean? And it's like.
Yeah,
I
sometimes you're
get
like, sometimes when you read things, you're just like, oh, this sucks, and then when you're talking about, you're like, oh, this really sucks.
It's like, yeah. At first, I was just like, Horizon Remake, dumb, and then I was like, you know what? No, whole of Sony right now, very dumb,
Very
dumb.
We even had like a God of War bit planned for that
Oh.
too, but we just
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
get to
we just
that.
Forgot.
It went gold.
Yeah.
Who cares? Everyone's
well.
gonna play
Yeah,
it in
it
November.
went gold. It exists.
It's the only game
It's
coming out
real.
for the rest of the
Game's
year.
out in
alright?
in November.
March.
Game's out in November, whatever.
November
9th.
Wednesday.
9th?
Yeah, the 9th.
Yeah, Wednesday the 9th. What an awful day. Ugh. Anyway. the week before my birthday. Early birthday present for me. Wow. Could have been a Sly game, just saying. But no, that's been our show.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Be grateful, Ethan. I'm getting a Pokemon game for my birthday.
Happy birthday. I hope Gen 9's better than Gen 8.
I'm not actually gonna play it. I'm just saying that's what's releasing
You should.
around
You
my
should do
birthday.
it. You should do it. It's a
Nah,
sign.
I don't
should.
feel like it. I'm sure I'll find something else that I would rather do.
But that's the thing, Hunter, because we're basically a week apart. So it's like your birthday week. Pokemon's always either on your birthday week or my birthday week. So we have to baton past this every so often. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. We just have to deal with it. This time it's your turn.
Ah.
It'll probably be my turn next time. But yeah. Anyway, all links are on screen right now. You can go follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything that we're doing outside of the podcast. Who knows what we're up to? Follow us on Twitter. Get some Overwatch clips of me thinking that I have good clips, and then everyone says I'm bad, and then I'd stop posting. That's what I'll do. But no, I don't know what we were going to cover next week. I have no clue.
Well,
Good question.
Resident Evil 4 won't take me that long, so
We'll
Apparently
see.
Bayonetta 2 won't
Persona.
take me
Oh
that
yeah,
long.
and Persona. We can talk about Persona
Yeah,
and all
so-
that shit.
Oh yeah,
But, you
next week's
know,
the Persona bullying week.
It's the Persona, but you know, there
I
might be
might
something
play
else.
I might play some of Returnal's co-op because now other people have that game that I
Who?
talk to.
Oh,
my
what
siblings
the fuck?
mostly.
I have it. What the fuck are you
Ethan owned
on?
the game.
Phone the
That's
game
true.
For a year.
Sam
What
owns
the
the game
fuck?
too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but you see, they weren't really asking me to play it.
I
Like it was
played
one of
the
those things.
DLC. What
You
the
did.
fuck? I'm absolutely.
Listen.
I'm fucking. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I'll play the
I
co-op
don't
And
with
don't
you
want-
too.
Hunter
No,
will
I don't
not
want to
be
play
on
with
the
you anymore.
show.
I don't want to play fucking with you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know what? If
And
you,
these
if you
next
want to,
weeks-
and you know what? If you want to,
Applications will be going up after this episode goes live.
yeah, and if you do want to reply to replace Hunter for the show, you can go and follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only, and subscribe to the
You
YouTube
would
channel
like
while
to
you're
be the
there.
co-host
YouTube.com/Hot Gamers Only. Look at the link tree in the description. Search for us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're on it. Don't look at our stupid faces. Go over there. Well, yeah, look at your stupid face for the last fucking time, traitorous bastard. It's enough from you.
That top row's gonna be mine.
I hope my replacement knows how to write reviews.
Yeah, true. I can't. I'm illiterate. I write my all of my scripts. They have an intro and a conclusion. It's the middle where I'm like, eh. All right.
Hope the games industry wants to put out some games to be reviewed.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Just don't worry, guys. Just 2 months for Jeff Keighley being bazookaed in the face. Just you wait. It's Wumpa League, baby. Let's go. Anyway.
And 1 week until Hunter gets bazookaed off this show.
Can't wait till you guys just become a Genshin Impact podcast.
I'm leaving if that happens. Anyway,
Yeah.
it'd be a more successful podcast, to be fair. Let's be real here. Like,
Yeah, but yeah.
do a Genshin spin-off cast, apparently. That's the way to go. Anyway, that's it for us this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. Me and Kyle will anyway. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.